felt like, you know, if I'm feeling called and connected to these cards, I'm not about to wait around for somebody to gift me a deck. I'm gonna go get it. So I did. So
know what I'm gonna say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? That ain't that what we're supposed to do. I'm not saying I'm gonna rule the world or I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job.
Ashe Warriors, it is the Sacred Empress back with another YouTube video, and today you guys, we're going to be getting into tarot. So if you're interested and wondering a little bit about tarot, how to read tarot, things like that, keep watching. Introducing you guys to tarot, I really didn't know where to start because I feel like there's so much that goes into this, so I do feel like I'll have to break this down into just different parts. So if you guys would like a tarot series, let me know. I'm gonna hook y'all up. Okay, I'm gonna hook y'all up. So I have 3 tarot decks here. This is my Dream Visions tarot deck. This is Miss Cleo's tarot deck, and then I have the Modern Witch tarot deck. Now I have more tarot decks, but these are the 3 that was easier to get out. So we're just gonna get into it. I'm gonna let you know how I started reading tarot, and I'm also going to just kind of go through the basics, you know, just the easiest, the simplest way to understand and read these cards. There are at least 78 cards. There are some people that create their decks with more cards. I have one that has like 80 cards. It all depends on the deck that you get. Now, when it comes to picking your tarot deck, okay, pick whatever you feel called to, okay? If you feel called to Modern Witch tarot deck, you know, it's more modernized, it's more relatable, you can get that deck. You know, if you feel more connected to, you know, something more, you know, celestial, like the Dream Visions deck, then I would suggest getting that. So I feel like find your aesthetic, okay? Find your aesthetic. If you're someone just super laid back and don't matter, then you could get the Rider-Waite deck. If you're someone that wants a more indigenous deck, I think they have like a Native American tarot deck. They have a Spanish tarot deck. They have an African American tarot deck. They have many different types, you know, when it comes to culture based. You could get something that's just really cute, like they have a cat tarot, they have gummy bear tarot, they got all types of stuff. Now, if you're someone that's into like pop culture, they have tarot decks for that as well. I have like a Golden Girls tarot deck, I have a Friends tarot deck, I have a Supernatural tarot deck. Now, these are shows, if y'all don't know. So if you're somebody that would feel more connected with something that's more familiar to you, I would suggest doing that. But when it comes to picking your own deck out for the first time, I honestly would just say to go with whatever you feel called to. Now, my first deck was the Rider-Waite deck, only because I didn't know like what to do. Like, I just kind of picked whatever. And I didn't want to get it confused. You know, if I was to start with like something more advanced, like the African American tarot deck, it would take more time for me to learn the cards because they're different from their original. For me, I started with that deck just because I felt like it was the right thing to do, just to be a beginner, and I was learning. But y'all do not have to do that. You go with whatever you feel called to, and that's something that I've learned along my journey, is that, you know, you do not have to just go with the basics just because it's the first tarot deck. So that's what I would suggest. I personally don't believe that anybody has to gift you your deck. I feel like I gifted myself my own deck. So that whole narrative, I just kind of threw that out of the window because I felt like if I'm feeling called and connected to these cards, I'm not about to wait around for somebody to gift me a deck. I'm gonna go get it. So I did. So I didn't really care too much about that. I just kind of went and did my own thing because that's just how I am. Getting into tarot, I had got a book with my cards, so I just kind of went through the book and read it, or the cards that I pulled, I'd go back, reference the book, and just see what those cards meant. Majority of the tarot decks that you buy are going to have like a book in it. So this one has a book. These other 2 didn't come with books in them, but majority, 9 times out of 10, you buy a tarot deck, it's going to have a book inside of it, okay? So it really just depends. If you're somebody that doesn't need the book, by all means, do your thing. Because I found after a while I didn't need the book anymore because I just kind of, you know, used my intuition, relied on what I felt when I saw the cards. So we're gonna get a little bit into that, how to find your own style, things like that, because I feel that it's very important that, you know, we realize as readers, we're not all gonna read the same cards the same way. We're all gonna read things differently. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna take the Modern Witch deck just to kind of do a little run through. When I get into like a more deep, advanced learning segment, I would love to just go through, like kind of like do like a flip through of the cards so that y'all can see them from beginning to end. But I'm not doing that in this video. This is just me giving y'all some inside scoop on reading tarot. Okay, so there's 78 cards. there's going to be 78 cards. 9 times out of 10, some people add more, some people take away a few cards. It just all depends on the deck that you get, but the ones that usually follow the Rider-Waite series are 78. We have your major arcana and we have your minor arcana. So the major arcana is going to consist of cards like the Fool, the Devil, the Empress, which we have here, the Hierophant, Judgment, the Moon, the Sun. So it's going to consist of those cards. Now, when we get into the minor arcana, that's where you're going to see the Queen of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Six of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles. We're going to see those types of cards. You'll have the elements and you'll have the court cards, which will be the Queen, the Page, the Knight, and the King. So the courts will be the Queen, the King, the Page, and the Knight. Okay, and I'm just gonna give y'all just brief like breakdowns of everything that I can, since this is just very beginner friendly and I don't want this to be like an advanced tarot reading video, because I feel like for those that are watching this, you probably just need to take it a little slow. So that's how we're gonna do things. So starting out with the major arcana, we're gonna start out with the Fool. This is the Fool, okay? Now, when I think about the major arcana, I think of it as a story. So the whole concept of, you know, cycles and the circle of life is kind of how I view major arcana. So we start off with the Fool and we end with the World, okay? So it's like that full circle moment. I've always seen this as like life in itself. Like I think of the Fool as the baby, you know, starting life, you know, and sometimes it's what this represents: starting a new journey, starting a new path, embarking on a new job or a new relationship. So the Fool can be taken as a new beginning. Next, we have the Magician, and I feel like the Magician represents like the soul. The Magician is kind of like a representation of the soul, because the soul is limitless. The Magician has all the tools. The Magician is able to create whatever it wants to because it just has the ability to. So this is the Magician. This is me giving y'all the easiest way to read these cards. So the Fool is the baby, the Magician is the soul, or you can just kind of see it as like the soul's abilities if you just want to see the Fool as like the soul too, but it's up to you. But with the Magician, I see this as like, you know, the ability to create, the ability to manifest. This is the Alchemist here. The second card is the High Priestess. Now I see the High Priestess as intuition. I see the High Priestess as, you know, psychic abilities, things like that, inner knowing. I always associate that card with like the Akashic Records. So if you're familiar with the Akashic Records, you know, it's like a library of information from, you know, just everything, alternate universes, this universe, all of that. So the Akashic Records is, you know, where all of the existence information is stored. So that is what I see the High Priestess as. She has the Moon here. She knows your deepest, darkest secrets. So you can kind of even see this as like, you know, I would say God, but I don't know if that's pushing it. But you can see this like a guide, or, you know, your own higher self in a sense, if that makes sense. So she knows everything. The High Priestess is going to tell you like it is, and that's just that. But yeah, this is the second card. So the Fool is 0, the Magician is 1, and the High Priestess is 2. Now 3 is the Empress. All right, so the Empress is probably one of my favorite cards. I call myself the Empress because when I first started you know, doing tarot readings, this is the first card that I really connected with. So I call myself the Empress because I feel that that's who I want to embody. I want to be the Empress. This is the third card, okay? And growing up, 3 was always my favorite number. So the fact that this card was 3 really just like, it did it for me. So with the Empress, this is the mother. This is how I view the Empress is the mother, the maternal figure, you know, bringing the newborn soul into this world, right? So next is going to be the Emperor, which I see as the father. So this is the Emperor. Now I see the Emperor as the father figure. This doesn't have anything to do with like gender roles. If anything, this is just me seeing it as a story altogether, you know. So you guys have all the right to interpret these cards the way that you see them, especially the major arcana, because these represent major chapters and events in our lives. These are things that we all go through, you know. But you can also see them as different cycles as well. You know, with the Empress and the Emperor, that's 3 and that's 4. So 3 is Empress, 4 is Emperor. And I'm very big into numerology as well. So for me, when it comes to reading my cards, I usually read the numbers as well. But that's something we can get into in a later video. So if y'all want to decode the card symbolism and the numbers and all that stuff, just let me know down in the comments, and I'll be sure to hook y'all up with the video on that. But The major arcana, just wanted to give y'all an example on how the cards, you know, are. They're numbered. But when you first get your deck, you're usually going to see the major arcana first. It's 22 major arcana, and then it's 56 minor arcana. We don't count the Fool for some reason, but I do. I count it. Yeah, and do. And what about it? The major arcana is going to represent like a major chapter or shift in your life or major influence in your life. So if we get the Emperor, you know, this is a major influence when it may come to your finances, when it comes to your stability, things like that. And this is Aries, Mars energy. So we could even take it a step further and incorporate astrology into these cards as well. But it really depends on who your reader is and, you know, if that's the way that you want to read it. Anytime I pull a major arcana card, I pay very close attention to the cards that are surrounding it. So usually when I pull one major arcana card, then the rest are just minor arcanas. And arcana is mysteries. That's what that means. So obviously when you're pulling tarot cards, you're not going to know what card's going to come out. So it's a mystery, right? So the major arcana is just more of like a bigger influence, I guess I could say. And I hope this is making sense. I made this video out on a whim, so if y'all need something more detailed and straight to the point, just let me know and I'll try to, you know, construct a more structured for you guys. But this is really just, you know, me introducing y'all to tarot, giving y'all a little feel of the cards, things like that, so that y'all can know where to start. You know, don't feel like you have to get your cards and know how to read people, because it takes time. For me, I didn't really get the hang of it until like a few months in, and then I was able to read for people, and 9 times out of 10 it was accurate. But one of the biggest tips that I give anybody that's wanting to learn tarot, if you do not trust your intuition, if you're not confident in your intuition, your messages aren't really going to come out that way that you're probably wanting them to. So if you want an accurate message to come through for you, a client, a friend, a family member, if you want an accurate message, trust your intuition. And that's where a lot of the work comes in. And a lot of people just think that these cards are going to get the information to you like that, but it's really your intuition that's going to help you and guide you through the reading. So I feel like first time getting into tarot, you're unfamiliar, make sure you're working on your intuition and make sure that you are somebody that acts on your intuition rather than somebody that's constantly ignoring it, because these readings can put you in a space where you're delusional. Now you're just thinking all these different things that probably aren't even the case, because you have to build a relationship with your own inner knowing. That way when you pull cards, you do readings, it's more accurate and it makes sense to the person that you're reading. It makes sense to you because you're reading yourself, things like that. For me, I started by reading myself and reading my friends, my family. So I was in like a group chat with some girls, and you know, I got my first deck and I was like, hey y'all, I got some tarot deck. I got a tarot deck, like, can I practice on y'all? And they let me practice on them. They told me like, oh, this is so accurate, like, you know, that's crazy how this resonates with me. And then read for my mom, read for my brother, like my sisters, and they would say the same thing. Now mind you, this is me referencing a book, just going back and forth, because, you know, I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was talking about. I didn't just want to be, you know, reading these cards and I'm just making up stories because I don't know what I'm doing. It's my first time. So it's better to be delusional in the first half. Okay, so when you start reading your cards, yes, you're not gonna know all the card meanings. You're not gonna understand tarot like that, because for me it's a language. I feel like I speak tarot fluently now. But when it comes to, you know, your own personal experience, like, it's better to make all of the mistakes in the beginning. So take as many risks when it comes to, like, you know, doing readings. Like if you see a card that you're not really familiar with and you don't know what it means, pay attention to the art in the picture. So I'm just gonna pull a random card real quick. So we have the Two of Cups, right? If you didn't know what the Two of Cups meant, what could you gather just from this picture alone? What do you see here? Does it look like an exchange? Does it look like two friends just coming together? You know, what does it look like to you? Because the picture tells a story. It's really all about how you understand the cards, because everyone's going to understand them differently. Everyone's going to interpret them differently, because we all have different perspectives. I'm going to get a little bit into the minor arcana real quick, just so that I don't forget that. So I'm going to just give y'all a few examples. So you're going to have your swords. You're going to have your wands. You're gonna have your cups, and you're gonna have your pentacles. Okay, when it comes to the pentacles, we're just gonna start with the pentacles. I really don't see it as it having any specific order, because some of the decks come with the wands first, some of them come with the pentacles first, or the cups first. It really just depends. So I don't really try to put them in any specific order. because with the decks that I've got, like, there was never really an order to begin with. So it's really up to you how you want to see that, but I try not to put them in any order because they're all suits, you know, they're all elements. So it's like one doesn't come before the other. They're all, you know, they all coexist in some way. With the pentacles, I see the pentacles as earth. Okay, so some people will interpret the elements a little bit differently. Some will say that the pentacles is water or fire, but I don't know. People have their own interpretations, but this is just how I've always felt it was supposed to go. So I've always associated the pentacles as earth. So these are tangible things. So when I see the pentacles, I assume work, career, business, school. It could be money. This could be a car. This could be a home. This could be anything. It really just depends on the vibe you pick up on. And I also say too, it's always the question that's being asked, because let's say you're asking about your home life and you get the Three of Pentacles. This will kind of put me in that space where I'm like, are you getting roommates? Are you moving in with people? Because the Three of Pentacles is like where people are coming together to work on something, to reach a specific goal together. So I would be like, oh, you're moving in with some new people, like, you know, that type of thing. Or maybe you need help moving, things like that. This is going to represent the physical aspects of just our life and our daily existence. So I always associate pentacles with earth. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. Next, we have the cups. The cups, I see the cups as the emotional, as the vulnerable, as the spiritual connection. Because when I think of the cups, I think of water. Because, I mean, what are you going to fill these cups up with? Alcohol. So this could be the alcohol element. But even then, it's still water. Still water. Water is the base. Don't really want to hear much about that. But yes, with the Ten of Cups, this card to me speaks, you know, emotional fulfillment. So when you see a 10 in any of the elements, see that as fulfillment, unless it is the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands. We're gonna get into those cards, but because we're not even there yet. But when I see the cups, I associate this with, you know, trauma. I can associate this with, you know, just emotions as a whole. So, you know, relationships, friendships. Because with the Pentacles, it will be more so like business friendships and, you know, employees and things like that. Whereas this is more like intimate relationships, you know, somebody that you can cry with. That's what I would say with the cups. You know, it's going to represent the emotional side of things, and even the spiritual side of things, if you want to take it there. Like, you know, this could be spiritual fulfillment as well. So that's how I interpret it, because I feel like with the other suits, they don't really have like that distinct connection to spirit when it comes to, you know, the cups. I feel more that this is like a spiritual, you know, element. It's not to say that the other cards aren't, or the other suits aren't, or the other elements aren't. It's just that when I see the cups, I can see, you know, that there's depth to it. It's more than just water. It's more than just emotion. You know, it's deeper than that. It's the spirit. It's the soul. So that's how I always see the cups. Now, interpreting the cups, you know, it depends on the question, obviously. So maybe you guys can give me some examples for a future video on like how to read people. But with the Ten of Cups, as an example, you know, let's say someone's asking about, you know, a friendship. So is this a good friend for me? With the Ten of Cups, I can tell that this is somebody that you enjoy celebrating things with. This is someone that, you know, makes you feel good. It doesn't make you feel ashamed of your emotions, and, you know, really uplifts you in different ways. So it could be even interpreted as, you know, this being somebody that, you know, is a soulmate friend, right? So that's how I see the cups. I wish I had better examples, and, you know, wish I had a better game plan coming into this video, but I didn't. I was like, let's just record it, and whatever happens. So now I'm kind of regretting that. But I still hope that this video is doing y'all justice, and I still hope that I'm at least kind of setting out the foundation for you guys so that y'all at least understand the basics of tarot. Next, we have the Wands. So with the Wands, I see this as passion. This is the action here. So with the Pentacles is more of like the, I wouldn't even say idea. I feel like the Pentacles and the Wands kind of, you know, create that. Well, I would say the Pentacles is more action based, and the Wands are more like, you know, inspiration, passion, drive. You know, it's the energy that's going to get you there. This is the fuel to your fire, basically. Or this is the fire. I feel like the water is the fuel, but this is the fire right here. Okay, so when I think of wands, I do think of fire. I never want anybody to think that tarot is just you just come up with a meaning for the cards and there you go, because it's more to it. They have their own distinct meanings. Obviously, the more you learn tarot, the more you are able to come up with your own ideas of what the cards mean to you specifically. But it's not that simple as Nine of Wands, protection, because it's always more to it. And like I said, it really depends on the question that's being asked, the other cards that are surrounding it. Because for me, when I interpret the cards, I look at where they're connecting. I look at how they're interacting with one another. So if I have, this card looking to the right. So if I have a card right here, it would kind of tell me what she might be potentially protecting her energy from, or what she's defending herself from. Does that make sense? So I like to see the cards connect. And if they don't connect, then that's where I can draw my own conclusions from there. But yeah, with the wands, when I see them come through, it just lets me know there's some passion, there's some inspiration. And with a lot of these cards, there's a lot of conflict, things like that. So it's like all these cards aren't just going to represent like, passion, drive, blah, 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 blah. Because with the Five of Wands, it's like there's some conflict within your passion. You have passion, but you also have competition. And that's kind of what the Five of Wands feels like to me. And then you have the Ten of Wands, where you're carrying it all on your back and you're trying to do too much when it comes to your craft and, the things like that. So I would say that this is like, let's say you're into music. This is going to represent the music, whereas the Pentacles might represent you going to the studio, getting a song recorded, getting the music recorded, promoted, things like this. This is going to represent the craft itself. Yeah, with the Wands, I see this as the passion that you have for something, whereas the Pentacles will represent the thing, and then the Cups will kind of represent the emotional relationship that you have with it. And the last suit or element that we have is the Swords. So I feel like the Swords is more of like the thought process, the idea. Like, I just thought about, launching a skincare business. I just thought about, being a model. I just thought about. So this is the thoughts. That's how I see the Swords, as the mental space, which is why I feel that the suits are so chaotic, because our minds can be chaotic as well. And it can be super just all the way out there because we overthink. We get in our heads. We see things. We hear things. We think things. So it's always a lot with the Swords, because it represents the mind for me. For me, I can't say for anybody else. So I'm gonna run back through them. Swords is the thought or idea. Wands is the inspiration or the energy that is needed for whatever task. The task itself is going to be the Pentacles, and then the emotional connection that you have to these things is going to be represented by the Cups. So I hope that makes some sense, and I guess just made it more easy for you guys to understand the suits a little bit better. So when you pull the Five of Swords, the Five of Wands, the Five of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles, they all represent different things. So with the Five of Cups is going to represent, grief, loss. The Five of Pentacles can represent some struggle within your finances or within the craft itself. You're struggling with the craft. And then with the Five of Wands, you feel blocked from the craft. It feel like there's too much inside of that energy field. So you may feel like, there's some stagnancy there. And then with the Five of Swords, this could be like your mind's cluttered, so your ideas are blocked, your things are blocked. So with the fives, blocked, you're feeling blocked in these areas. So you can kind of take it and be like, okay, so 5 is going to represent blockages. So if that represents blockages, you got the Cups. So there may be some blocked emotions, or there may be something that was blocked, or something that you weren't able to get through to, and you end up losing this said thing, and now you're all emotional about it, Whereas the Pentacles, you may be blocked financially. With the Five of Swords, you may be blocked with your ideas. And then with the Wands, that's where you might be blocked creatively. Maybe blocked creatively. I hope that made some type of sense. This is just basic 1, 2, 3, trying to get y'all to just get the hang of it, because it might take y'all months, it might take y'all years to understand it and get the hang of it for yourselves. So, I do hope that this at least kind of, makes enough sense for y'all to be like, okay, I get it. I'm gonna take my Miss Cleo's deck just so that I can kind of go through and explain the court cards, okay? So the court cards are going to be the Queen, the king, the page, and the knight. Helping you better understand the court cards. I'm only giving y'all, this is like a cheat sheet video, okay? So if y'all want a more like full-on in-depth video, please let me know. Let's get to like 100 likes or something. I know that sounds crazy, but it's not like I can't get 100 likes, you know. I'm just throwing it out there. I feel like even if whether we do or we don't, I'm still gonna make an in-depth video for y'all. As long as y'all just let me know in the comments, okay? That's all I'm asking. So, getting into the court cards, you're gonna have the page first, the knight, the queen, and the king, okay? Now, I'm gonna tell y'all how I made it easy on myself, because with these cards, these are the cards that I struggled with the most when it came to interpreting. So, we're gonna start with the page. Now, with the page, I see this as somebody that's learning for the first time. So, with the Page of Swords, this is someone that could be getting some new information about anything, really, you know? Getting new information about, yeah, anything. Because when I think of the swords, it's knowledge, it's information, period, you know? So this could be like a specific skill you're learning. This could be like a new craft, a new hobby, a new person, you know. This is someone that's going to feel something out first before they decide if they want to commit to it. So you can kind of see this as, with the Page of Swords, this is y'all trying to learn about tarot, right? So you're learning about something. You're trying to educate yourself and get more information before you dive into something else. And I'm not going to say that all pages are going to represent needing new information, because if anything, this is someone that's getting their feet dirty for the first time. You know, they don't really know what they're getting themselves into. So they have to really sit on the sidelines and watch. So this could be the watcher. This could be someone that's watching, you know. So let's say, for example, you want to be an actor. So if you want to be an actor, you're not just about to get up and just start acting. You're going to educate yourself on it, at least get some type of information, read some articles or watch some videos. That's what the page is going to represent. Someone that is taking the time out to get new information about something that is intriguing to them. Okay, does that make sense? So next, we have the knight. So the knight is going to represent someone that's taking action. This is the initiator, you know. This is somebody that has nothing to lose. They're ready to commit to this. So let's keep the whole actor scenario going on, right? For somebody that wants to be an actor, this is someone that's going to auditions. This is someone that's practicing, going to classes. This is someone that's taking that extra step to get to that position that they're trying to get to, you know. So with the court cards, you can kind of see it as like, you know, getting more in tune with the goal. So when we think about the pages, I'm not even gonna say which one. When we think about the pages, this is, you know, writing down the goals. The Knight of Staffs is getting those goals done, right? So we're into acting. We want to get into it. I want to be on TV. I want to walk the red carpet. I want to win an Oscar. Like, this is the motivational energy here. This is someone that's motivated to do it. This is someone that's ready to go to all the auditions and try out. Even if they don't get the part, they know that they took that extra step, right? So this is someone that is committed and it is ready. You know, they're hungry, right? This is somebody that is starving and they gotta get some food on their table because they want to be an actor. And from what I know, actors be broke. But anywho, that's what I always interpreted with the knights. So knights is going to take action. Pages are going to kind of watch and get a feel for it first before they decide if they want to jump into it or not. Okay, so knight is gonna, they're all in. I like this. I like what I'm seeing. Let's go to an audition. Let's go meet some people that are also actors, right? Let's go surround ourselves with other actors. And that's what we're getting into, the other actors. So we have the queen, and then we have the king. The queen is somebody that is very, very in love with what they're doing, okay? They love what they're doing. So as an example, we're going to continue to use the actor scenario, okay? So when it comes to the acting world, the queen is the Angela Bassett, okay, of the acting world. This is someone that is inspiring. This is someone that is beautiful, and you know, everyone loves them and they do no wrong when they're on set, you know, because they have good energy and they love what they do, you know. So this is someone that loves their craft like no other. They love it. It's not about being the best. It's about doing what you love with the Queen of Coins. Now, with the King, this is somebody that wants to be the best. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best. So this is someone that's mastering their craft, and this is someone that just loves their craft. So the Queen, I always call the Queen the nurturer of blank. So with this is the nurturer of coins, right? So she nurtures her craft. She nurtures the people that surround her craft. So if you're on set with the Queen, she's gonna come up to you. She's gonna talk to you. She's gonna help you. She's gonna give you some great advice. You know, give you some tips on things she wish she would have known. That's what the Queen is gonna do. The Queen loves her craft so much that she's gonna put you in position to love it just as much as she does, maybe even more. Okay, so these two are veterans, right? These two have already got their feet dirty. They've already gone through the page process. They've already gone through the night process. So they understand how things work a little bit better because these two have more experience, right? They just have different outlooks on things. So with the King, I call the King the master. So master of cups or master of acting, since we're talking about acting. So with this being an actor, you know, the King is somebody that, you know, shows up to set on time, doesn't really care for small talk, you know, wants to just go in, get the job done, get out, you know. So it depends on the specific element that it's associated with. So this is the King of Cups. This is someone that's going to be very laid back and chill on set. You know, they're not really going to bother you. They're going to do what they're supposed to do, you know, get it done. Very, very cool with everybody, you know, but they're not there to, you know, just goof off. Like, this isn't going to be the King that's going to goof off on set and waste time. You know, they came to do their job. They love what they do, you know, because this is a Cups card. They love it so much that they sometimes take it a little serious. Just because they're a master as well, you know, they want to perfect their craft. So they're the ones that's going to kind of critique you a little bit, like, hey, like you were a little flat on that, or oh no, that wasn't your spot, that wasn't your, you know, like they're going to be the one that's going to kind of correct you on what you're doing wrong. Whereas the Queen is going to kind of like see the beauty in it, you know, she's going to see the beauty in it. The King is going to be like, yeah, that wasn't your line, that was my line, let's run it back. So the King will kind of be that person that you're not really going to want to be around when you're on set. If you were an actor, now this is a different field, it'd probably be a little bit different, but since we're talking about acting, I'm only going based off of this whole narrative. So the King would be cool. It just depends on which suit it is. Like, I could see the King of Wands being more like upbeat and wanting to have a good time and enjoying it. But the King of Cups, I just feel is super laid back. And then with the Swords and the Pentacles, I feel like they're just going to be super strict and like, you know, but it just depends. It's how I'm interpreting it anyways. So yeah, that's what I have for the court cards. I'll go over them again just so that you guys could get a good understanding. So the page is going to be the amateur of swords. They have some learning to do. So this is them taking those steps to learning and educating themselves on what being an actor consists of, the things you need, the terminology, all of that good stuff. They're taking their time to educate themselves. And the page of swords can be on set. You know, they could be on set. It could be their first acting gig. It could be their second acting gig, but they're still in that amateur phase, right? Y'all get it? Y'all get it? So the Knight of Staffs is someone that has experience. They have the experience. They understand it. This is someone that's taking action, taking more action, right? They're doing more than the page because they have a good sense of it. They got a good flow and they get it. So it's like the King of, not the King, the Knight of Staffs will be like somebody that's, you know, been acting for a year or 2 years, right? Whereas the King and the Queen are going to be people that have been acting for probably 5 to 10 years plus. So with the Queen, this is going to be the nurturer, and with the King, this is going to be the master. So you can take those words, fill it in with Queen, so you can replace Queen with nurturer, and you can replace the King with master. Just to make it easy, y'all, this is not saying that y'all need to take away the whole King Queen concept, because it just helps you better understand the cards. So if you pull the Queen of Coins, this is the nurturer of her, you know, specific craft or whatever it is that she's doing. So, you know, this is someone that nurtures her funds. This is someone that nurtures herself. Also take into account with the Pentacles, you want to include yourself in it as well. You are physical. You're tangible. Okay? You're not like a possession or anything. But, you know, this is like self-care, self-love, that type of thing. We have the Queen of Coins. Queen of Coins ain't gonna like let nobody get in her way when it comes to the stuff that she cares about. So there's that. Now with the King, Master of Cups. So with the King of Cups anyways, this is someone that mastered their emotions, right? So when it comes to the acting world, this is somebody that, you know, they know what they're doing. It's like they know more than you, and they're going to let you know that. They're going to let you know that they know more. They're going to let you know that they've been acting for 5 to 10 years. They're going to let you know, and there's nothing you can do about it. But just sit there and listen, or turn around, walk away, and go talk to the queen, or go talk to the knight, especially if you're the page. You know, if you're the page, you would connect better with the queen or the knight. It's not to say that there's not kings that are going to be very, like, you know, open. It's just that 9 times out of 10, the king didn't come to play around, you know? So if it's the King of Staffs or the King of Wands, I would get it. I would understand it. But the other ones, the other 3, I'm just like, not so much. They're probably not going to be the clown in the group. If anything, the clown is going to be the knight, because the knight is still, and it's like, you know, their beginner stages. So if y'all want to, you can look at the page as like the baby or the child. You can look at the knight as like the teenager, young adult. You could see the queen as like, you know, the I wouldn't say elder, because it can be an elder, but it's really all about how you want to interpret it. I usually see this as like the adult to the elder. Same thing with the king as well. So hopefully the cards interpretation made sense to y'all, and I hope that was a good analogy. And you know, if you guys need me to like go more in depth with it, I got y'all. Okay, we're gonna get into the numbers. I'm going to give y'all a little rundown on the numbers, so that y'all at least understand how you can take everything that I taught y'all today and incorporate it into a reading of y'all's own. And if I didn't do justice, then you know, it is what it is. I'll try better next time. So this is the Dream Visions deck. So I'm just gonna go through the numbers, give y'all my quick interpretations of the numbers, so that y'all can tie everything together that y'all have learned in this video and use it to the best of y'all's ability. This is beginner friendly, y'all. This is beginner friendly. So if this was hard, I'm gonna just have to delete this video and try again. So starting with 1, or the ace. Ace is 1. Ace is 1. Okay, just keep that in mind. So if you see the Ace of Swords, that's 1 of swords, or 1 sword. Okay, so the ace is going to represent the new element, right? So with the 1, this is kind of a manifestation of, you know, whatever element you're connecting with. So if it's fire, it's going to be the wands. So the Ace of Wands to me is going to represent like new passion for something, a new love for something. This could be new love. This could be a new song idea, a new creative project, new something that would be in correlation to fire. Okay, so this could be a new inspiration. This could be a new feeling that you never felt before. Y'all could even see the wands as the experience. But yeah, with 1 is new beginnings, new energy. You could also see this as like, you know, initiating something. So kind of taking that leap of faith in this new creative direction. Now with the Ace of Pentacles would be more like new home, new car, new clothes, money coming in. Like that's what the ace, like the Ace of Pentacles will represent. The Ace of Swords could be clarity, insight, gaining new knowledge, having a conversation that leads to clarity or leads to, you know, some type of common ground. I was gonna say closure. So if it's like, if you pull this Ace of Swords, if you pull the Ace of Swords, it'd be more like you needing closure, right? Does that make sense, guys? I feel like I'm gonna ask that question like a million times, and it's just the teacher in me is like, I hope this is making sense to them. I hope they're getting something from this video, and I hope that I, you know, didn't make it even more confusing, because that's not my intention whatsoever. So Ace of which one am I missing? So with Ace of Cups could be, you know, an emotional breakthrough. So just kind of taking everything I said earlier about the elements and the suits and applying it with the number 1, which one is going to be new. So you can just kind of see 1 is equivalent to new things, fresh start, new beginning, you know, just things like that. So hopefully y'all picked that up. So next is 2. 2, I always see 2 as balance. And going back to this, we're gonna throw some astrology in there, okay? So 1 is Aries, 2 is going to be Taurus, okay? So with the number 2, stability is very, very, very important, okay? Balance is very, very, very important. Structure is very, very important. So with the number 2, I always see this as like, having a good balance. Things are at ease. Things aren't all over the place. Things aren't dysfunctional. Things are, just cool. We coolin'. So with the 2 of Swords, this is more so like having to make a decision, having to choose something. So with the Swords, this is mental. This is the mind. So you have to make up your mind with the 2 of Swords. With the 2 of Pentacles, you have to, manage things a little bit better. So this could be your time and, whatever things you got going on. So balancing out your time, with the 2 of Pentacles. The 2 of Wands is kind of choosing a path. Okay, so you're choosing a path with the 2 of Wands. And then with the 2 of Cups, this is that, exchange of energy, exchange of emotional support or what have you. So 2, balance. 2 is also Taurus energy as well. So if you are into astrology, this could probably help you out more when it comes to interpreting. 3 is Gemini, and I see 3 as the number of creativity. It's the Empress. So if y'all want to like correspond the numbers back to, the major arcana cards, maybe it'll make it a little easier for you all. If it doesn't, if it's too much to think about, you're still understanding the major arcana cards, I get that. Just, you could associate it with the astrology, or you could just associate it with the number itself. 3, I also see 3 as like potential, like your potential. You could see 3 as communication as well. So needing to communicate something, or something's not being communicated. I think that's where we're gonna leave it with 3. I feel like that was enough examples of what the number 3 could mean and how it could represent, the different cards. So with the 3 of Cups, 3 of Cups could be, friendships, relationships, with multiple people, like group friends, things like that. Like I said earlier, and I'm just going to continue saying this, it really depends on the surrounding cards and the question that was being asked, So if you were like, how does my boyfriend feel about me? And you get the 3 of Cups, I'm going to be like, they feel a lot of things about a lot of people. But it really depends on the surrounding cards. That's why I pull more than one card when I do my readings, because I never want to just kind of settle for this, because it could be interpreted many ways alone, that it's interpreted with other cards as well. So that's just me. That's how I've always done it. So with the 3 of Pentacles, usually with the 3 cards, it's like some type of collaborative like energy. So this could be people that you tell and share your stories with the Cups. With the Swords, these might be people that hurt your feelings. With the Pentacles, could be people that you work with at work, like at in a business, whatever the case may be. And then with the Wands, I see the Wands as like a solo thing. Like the 3 of Wands is more like a solo type of vibe. Like I'm choosing my path. I'm walking my path. So that's how I see the 3 of Wands. So the 3 of Wands is the one where I see there's more isolation in that card. But usually the other cards have other people in them. The 3 of Swords is just 3 swords in a heart. Yeah, 3 swords in a heart. So like I said, it can be interpreted very differently. So I feel like the Swords and the Wands are more like isolated, introspection, reflection, things like that. Whereas the Pentacles and the Cups are more like, open and connecting with other people, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's 3. 4, we got the 4 of Wands. 4, I see this as foundation, structure, family. 4 is Cancer. If you wanted to associate it with like a zodiac sign. So with the 4 of Wands, I see this is like reunion, family, coming back home, feeling at home, feeling comfortable, things like that. And with the 4 of Swords, I see this is like needing to rest, needing to rejuvenate your spirit. With the 4 of Pentacles, I see it as needing to release. You got a tight hold on something and you need to release it. So, being very possessive with the 4 of Pentacles. 5 is where you start to see more of like it's getting harder. We start off with the Ace. The Ace is like, woo, new beginning. And then when we get to 10, it's like, okay, I'm tired. Like, this is exhausting. I want to go to sleep. Except for the Pentacles and the Cups, where you see more of like that, vibrant energy when we get closer to the 10. Whereas the Swords and the Wands feel more like a heaviness, a burden, a lot to carry. Okay, so with the Five of Pentacles, I've always seen the Five of Pentacles as just desperation, being in a period of scarcity, not having enough, losing stuff, or just simply not having enough. Five could also be blockages, so it could represent where you're blocked at, where you need, more stability, where you need more balance, where you need more attention, So with the Five of Pentacles, that's how I interpret it, like, feeling blocked financially. If you have a business, just money ain't coming in, or, you're feeling stagnant, or you're just super stressed out about finances, right? So you can see Five as stress as well. Five of Swords, I typically see this card as like some type of miscommunication or misunderstanding, or backlash when you're opening up, This could be people stabbing you in the back. This could be people doing you wrong and, stepping out and just kind of going against the grain, Five of Wands, I feel this is kind of where that competitive energy comes in at, because when you think about the Wands, this is fire. This is your ambition, this is your drive. So you got other people that got the same drive as you, or maybe have more of a drive than you. So it's like you're in competition with these people, but the Five of Wands teaches us to not associate ourselves in that type of energy. Anyway, stay in our own lane, basically. Five of Wands is everybody trying to merge in one specific lane, and we all have our own lane. So hopefully that made sense. Next will be the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is going to highlight, loss or grief. This is 3 cups that have knocked over. So it's like all the things that you worked hard for, or something that you gained, you're losing it. You're losing something that you gained. But in this card, it also shows that there's still things that you have that you also have to appreciate. So it's like sometimes when we lose things, we lose sight of the things that we still have, and that's the beauty in the Five of Cups. Okay, so next is Six of Swords. I see this is like, positive movement forward, change, moving in a new direction, feeling more aligned with the Six of Swords. Six of Wands is more like getting the recognition that you deserve, getting the attention you deserve, being seen, being heard, especially if you feel like you're not getting that, because the last number was 5. And with the Five of Wands, you're kind of going through, bumping heads with other people that are in the same path or career space as you, or whatever the case may be. And then with the Six of Wands, it's like, okay, now I'm getting the attention I deserve. Now people are seeing me because I chose to go in my own lane, right? And Six of Pentacles can represent, giving, receiving. I always see this as like reciprocation, and having that healthy balance of giving and receiving. Six of Cups, this is more like nostalgic energy, past energy, and things like that. And I forgot the last card's zodiac sign, but that will represent Leo. So 5 is Leo, 6 is Virgo. Okay, so just keep that in mind, especially if you're into the zodiac signs and you understand them at least to a certain extent. You could even associate it with the cards as well if you get a little stuck. Okay, so that's the 6s. The number 6 itself, I personally feel, is a number of compassion. It's love. So yeah, with 6, this could be routine. This could be, this could be health as well, since it's Virgo. It could be catering to something, or something catering to you, because we get back into that giving and receiving energy from the Six of Pentacles. It could still be applied to the other cards as well. It's just all about how you choose to interpret it. So next we have, that was 6, next is 7. So 7, I see the number 7 as the divine's number. Like, this is like God's number. This is, your connection to God in some form or fashion. So the card that I had used to, give us examples on the number 7 is the 7 of Pentacles. Now, when I think of the 7 of Pentacles, I think of the whole process of anything that grows. It takes time. So with the 7 of Pentacles, it's like you're trying to get your business fruitful, but you have to recognize that your business cannot be fruitful until you nurture it, until you cater to it, until you are patient with it and give it that space and time that it needs so that it can grow into whatever it's supposed to grow into, rather than smothering it in and feeling like you got to control it all the time. 7 is kind of letting go, let God type of energy. So with the 7 of Wands, this is where you feel the need to have to protect yourself or defend yourself. So this is like your boundaries with the 7 of Wands, just how I've always interpreted it. With the 7 of Cups, I personally feel that with the 7 of Cups, this is more of that, like that, Neptune energy, like you know, illusions and dreams and fantasies. The Seven of Cups is like having to choose between a numerous amount of things, but knowing that you have these options available to you as well, and just being more out there with your ideas, you know. So it's like, when you think of the seven is the divine. Seven is more of a, you know, higher power, more of that spiritual connection, if that makes sense. Next is the Seven of Swords. I want to say, I don't think I've said the swords yet. Seven of Swords. Some people see this as like the sneaky card, like, oh, I'm getting out of here, I gotta go, like I gotta dip, I'm cutting you off, I'm ghosting you. Some people see it that way. Me, it depends, okay? It really depends. Like, these cards can have completely different meanings based off of whatever you're pulling for, you know. So if you're pulling for love and career, it might have a different meaning from, you know, your ancestors or spirit guides trying to give you some advice. So with the Seven of Swords, I see this as, you know, being directed to remove certain things out of your life, you know. So I see the Seven of Swords as releasing, whether it's you releasing it or it's God releasing certain things out of your life. And you could also see the Seven of Swords as like a sacrificial card, like you have to sacrifice something for the life you're trying to live or for the things you're trying to do, excuse me, and what you're working towards. So Seven of Swords is more of that sacrificial card, if that makes any sense. So Seven of Swords could just be that clear understanding, which is why I kind of associate it with, you know, God, because God is very understanding. God isn't going to judge you. God is going to love you regardless of what decisions that you make. So you might be the Seven of Swords reversed, and you do something completely out of the ordinary. I've never seen you do that. I didn't know you could do that. The Seven of Swords reversed is still showcasing that love and compassion for that person, because the number 7 is connected to the creator, the divine, the source, however you want to interpret that, okay? So next we have 8. So 8 of Pentacles is working on your craft. Now I see 8 is the number of karma. 8 is Scorpio, so I see it as karma. I see it as just simply karma, honestly. I feel like that's the best example I can give y'all for the number 8 is karma. Okay, so 8 of Pentacles is you putting in that hard work. So if you're putting in hard work with your craft, you're going to receive benefits and rewards from that, right? 8 of Cups, we're walking away from something that no longer serves us. So this is potentially us breaking a cycle, which is a process of karma. You know, we have to break a cycle in order to, you know, receive a new path or go through a new cycle, and, you know, we've learned our lesson basically. With the 8 of Swords, this is kind of being stuck and not seeing, you know, being blind to everything. It's being Ray Charles to the bullshit. Okay, so the 8 of Swords, and I know this card all too well because I used to pull it like every other day. It didn't matter. But the situation, the 8 of Swords coming out somehow, some way. But with the 8 of Swords, I always seen that card as like, you know, being blind, seeing it as being ignorant, you know what I'm saying? Choosing not to see the truth in things. And then we got the 8 of, I already said 8 of Cups. 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands I see is communication. I see that as like a communication card. So communicating with spirit, communicating with the divine. You kind of see this like a manifestation card in a way. It really just depends. I just see it as communication, whether it be with your spirit team, whether it be with the divine, whether it be with yourself. Like, there's something that needs to be addressed, you know? And I see it as like education, learning, because with the 8 of Wands, it's like traveling, letters, text, email. So getting new information, and obviously there's so many different ways to get information. Like I said, it's going to take time to come up with your own interpretations, and this is just my way of trying to make it at least a little bit easy for you guys. So y'all can come back and watch this video as many times as y'all need to. I do hope that it's actually helpful and I'm able to give y'all what y'all need to help y'all better understand these cards, okay? So 9 is Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius is, you know, it's like, you know, the guru. You know, there's someone that likes to learn, someone that likes to educate. So with the 9, this is a card that can really represent like stability, especially in the Pentacles and the Cups. So you can see this as, with the 9 of Cups, as like, you know, wishes are fulfilled. You know, things that you're asking for are being fulfilled. Those manifestations are on the way. That job's on the way. This is on the way. Or this is kind of like you already got it. Let's say you're trying to get a new car. The 9 of Cups can indicate that you done already got the car, right? So that's just the 9. The 9 for me, I see it as like, you know, one door closes, another door opens, right? So it's like your car got totaled. The 9 of Cups is going to indicate that, yes, your car got totaled, but a new one's coming, okay? Insurance is going to bring you a new car, okay? Period. So 9 of Pentacles, I see this as like very elegant, very in tune with yourself, in tune with your finances. You've really developed a good relationship with the things around you. You know, it's like this is like the embodiment of gratitude. It's what it means to be grateful with the 9 of Pentacles. Now the 9 of Swords, this can represent anxiety. This can represent, you know, fatigue. It can represent, you know, depression, fear, you know, feeling lost in the sauce, feeling lost in your mind, because the swords are the mind, right? So with the 9 of Wands, this is more of like, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say putting an end to anything, but we could say that it's like putting an end to, you know, things not going your way, because it's like you're taking matters into your own hands with the 9 of Wands. Now the Wands, I feel, is a solo dolo type of suit anyways, but with the 9 of Wands, it's like, you know, you could have had so many things getting in the way of your business or getting in the way of your, you know, ideas, and it's like you're taking a stand for what you believe in, and you're not going nowhere. You know, like with the 9 of Wands, it's like, you know, you're defending your territory, you're defending your ideas, you're defending your craft, you're defending the things that you enjoy doing. So for me, you know, I've had people tell me like, oh, you don't need to be doing them cards, like that's bad, you're not supposed to be doing that. I'm gonna be in my 9 of Wands energy and tell them to kiss my ass, because if I want to read cards, I'm gonna read cards, and that's just that. I don't care how you feel. So that's me asserting my boundaries. So the 7 of Wands is having those boundaries, setting those boundaries, and the 9 of Wands is asserting those boundaries. Like, I stand on this hill, okay? I stand on this hill. You gonna have to remove me yourself, and I don't know how you gonna do that, because I'm not even gonna let you, right? So hopefully that makes sense. But yes, 9 will represent endings. 9 is also Sagittarius, if you guys needed that interpretation as well. And I wouldn't even say that 9 is always endings, because 9 can mean many, many, many things. Just how these cards have multiple meanings, the numbers have multiple meanings as well. So that's why I want you guys to take your time to educate yourselves on this information, because there's so much to it. You guys will be on a learning spree for hours and hours and hours, okay? But it's fun, you know, especially if this is something that you feel called to, you feel connected to it. You'll probably really, really love taking the time out to learn as much as you can about tarot, things like that. So last but not least is the 10 of Pentacles, or just the number 10 as a whole. 10 is Capricorn in astrology, and then here 10 of Pentacles is going to represent, you know, that abundance, that financial freedom, you know, financial freedom. This could be generational wealth, things like that. So it's like when we go through all of these cards, you will see that there's a story within the elements in itself, which is a video. I want to do a separate video on the suits. I want to do a separate video on the court cards. I want to do a separate video on the major arcana, because I feel like it will give me more it'll give me more time to focus on one specific part of, you know, tarot, so that way it's not all crazy. So this is just a beginner friendly video, just to get y'all a little like more in tune with tarot and make y'all a little more seasoned with it, you know what I'm saying? And then I'll have a whole series. So this will be the first video, and then the other videos will be the suits, the court cards, the elements, and all that other stuff, even adding astrology into it, the major arcana, all that. So there'll be separate videos, so that way I can focus on one specific thing at a time, and it won't feel like, you know, what are you doing? This is too much. So this video might be too much. It might be all over the top. It might be everything's all over the place, but I did it, and you know, it's first time for everything. Hopefully later down the line I'm able to do like an updated version and it's more organized, because this video was not organized at all. I just went with the fucking flow, and sometimes I can't do that. Sometimes I just gotta be like, you know what, Ashanti, sit with yourself, let's write out a list and let's do it that way. So for this to be something that was a chaotic hot ass mess, I do hope that it helped y'all. And I do hope that I gave y'all at least something to take on to y'all's journey when it comes to learning tarot. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to hydrate and meditate. And I will see y'all in the next video. Peace. I'm gonna put you in your place.